Hi everyone. Today I'm gonna be reviewing Terminator Resistance. This is a game that involves a soldier by the name of Ryder, I believe it is, and he plays a crucial role in sending back both Kyle Reese and the Terminator back through time. This Terminator, of course, being the T-800, I believe it is, from Terminator 2. Now, let's get into some of the weapons. This is the classic Skynet plasma rifle, the R95. This rifle is prominently featured in the movies, as is this one. However, it's used by the Resistance mainly. I believe it was actually created by the Resistance. And also there is the Termination knife, which helps with stealth, but be careful though, it's single use. You know, so you just knife them. It's kind of a shame that you can't throw it, but I guess it's a sacrifice you have to make. And of course, the graphics are nothing really to write home about. You know, but this is a low-budget game. Not really quite AAA, but it gets the job done in my opinion. One of the main things I like about it is the fact that the Terminators are actually intimidating for once, and they don't go down as easy as they did in the previous games that I played, which includes Terminator Dawn of Fate and Terminator 3 Redemption, which is, to be honest, one of the best Terminator games I had ever played, apart from, you know, this one. You know, I am being a little bit biased, however, because I'm actually a massive fan of the Terminator franchise. You know, because it just seems like the most realistic future possibility, even to this day. And it's actually almost 9 years till the main war that's displayed in most of the movies. I don't really care if I die, I'm doing a review. The loading screens can be a bit horrendous, however. And the voice acting, it's a bit wonky. You know, and sometimes the NPCs look like, you know, they're sock puppets. You know, but it gets really epic towards the end, especially when you're finally able to take down the HK aerials. You know, and also, like I said, the Terminators don't go down easy because you can't really kill them with conventional weapons, except maybe the shotgun, but you still need a little bit of help. It's not really going to do any actual damage. If anything, just make them fall over. And this is a lot of fun. You have offensive and defensive items, but usually the defensive items usually consist of a variety of stim packs. Like right here we got the slow-mo stimulant, pretty self-explanatory, speed stimulant, and pain-killing stimulant. Doesn't really serve as health, it just makes you a little bit tougher for the time being. Just put that there real quick. And also, let's show off the upgrading system. Basically, I'll tell you how it works. You have to match up the bars to each side. To get into a little bit more detail, as you can see on the far left, there's the block. And then on the far right, there's another block. And they connect to each other in a circle. And then the one in between, that has to link up with the ones that are adjacent. You know, like you see here, 3 to 3, block to block. At first it can become a little bit cumbersome, and to be honest, I actually found it quite frustrating at first. You know, but let's be honest, when am I not frustrated? You know, I rage like a fucking maniac sometimes. That was a good one. Yeah, and of course, destructible environments, which once again is pretty cool. Yeah, inconvenient, yeah, but that's what you gotta expect in some games, especially if you want it to be challenging. And that thing, those goggles I used just now, they basically help you see Terminators through walls. Not sure what the distance is for that, but there you go. And a variety of different Terminator models. They are from the T-800 series, but if you read the comics, there are many different types of T-800s. But you never really get to fight any other Terminators, apart from, you know, the ones that you see, like that one. I don't really think they're all considered Terminators, but, you know, they're all called Skynet as a general term in the game. You know, but I don't know, I just feel weird calling it that. And they don't really change much, even from the Universal attraction, where you actually do get to see Skynet, and it's in that pyramid form, you know, just like in the show. And it also has a hacking system, which is very reminiscent of the way Frogger would work. You know, like, essentially you have these bars, and you have to avoid the bars, or, you know, like in Frogger, avoid the cars. Same basic principle. And of course it gets harder as you go along. Hold on. This is live gameplay, by the way, so it's not pre-recorded like most channels. It's Big Jeff's. You might recognize that from the first Terminator movie as the place where Sarah Connor worked. Might even be able to see the famous Big Bun statue. I just killed this asshole. You know, I would say the chip system is actually pretty unique to this title. You know, a lot of people like to say that this isn't really a good game, but I don't know. I like it, but when it comes to movie games, my standards are kind of low. Let me see if I could show you a example of the hacking system. Okay. Realize that asshole's there. That's another thing I really don't like, which actually happens in a lot of different games. You actually have to hold down the button. Not too annoying, but, you know, it gets to you in the most tense moments. Alright, you get a little Cyberdyne hacking tool. Alright. Yeah, as you can see, just like Frogger. Unfortunately, these are the only, this is the only Skynet tech that you can really, hack. You can't really hack a Terminator, which is quite a shame, but once again, it makes economical sense. Because you actually figure out how you're supposed to take down, but rather hack, the T-800s. And here's some lockpicking. You could force it, however, unlike in Fallout 3, it doesn't really break the lock, it just breaks the lock pick. great improvement in my opinion. Well, not great improvement, more like less annoying. Sadly, here he is. Guard it for me, Big Buns. God, that thing looks so stupid. Since you only had the skeletal Terminators, I don't really think that's such a big deal, but I really want to have like a stage where you had to take out a T-1000. You know, even if you're attacking the Skynet base, so what? It would still be cool at that moment, because then it would serve as an excellent final boss rather than the T-850 that you keep fighting throughout the game. And that's basically the plot of the game. You're being hunted by a T-850, you know, and you're marked for termination and shit. This gets not only Skynet interested in you, obviously, but also John Connor, who is actually modeled after the John Connor that you see in Terminator 2. Yeah, and as you can see, the AI is not as smart as it ought to be. I admit that. You know, like if I was making a Terminator game, I would most definitely make it extremely smart. Oh, that's convenient. Stability. Alright. 1 second. Damn it. Oh, here we go. Shit. Double block. Ah. Okay. See how that worked? Activate. That's one of the reasons, so I kind of hope that this is gonna turn into an entire video game series, but to be honest, I think that's just wishful thinking. And as far as I know, there's never really been a game where you get to take out a T-1000. You know, of all games, I would think that the PS4 would be the one game that has that. You know, it's certainly capable. Like, imagine if you're walking through the wasteland, go into a building, and you walk on the floor, and then all of a sudden you turn around, there he fucking is. Not to say that he doesn't have an appearance in the game, he does, he's just not the T-1000. He's the person the T-1000 was modeled after. It is pretty cool though that they use you know, humans to make Terminators still. You know, much like in Terminator Salvation. Didn't really think that that movie was too bad, but the console port was just atrocious. Not to mention the fact that that story was just told in so many different ways. You know, i.e. the book, I believe there was a comic, you know, and many other things. So it just makes the Terminator Salvation movie tie-in just not worth it. You know, and in my opinion, Terminators should never go down from conventional weaponry. Another thing, like I'm sure I said,
seems to be coming from here.
That was one of the many saving graces of this game.
Upstairs.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the epic gameplay, I wouldn't shake two shits at it. I have yet to find a use for the pipe, by the way. And it also has some pretty cool music. Rather than copying and pasting what was in the previous movies, you know, they actually have their own spin on, what's it called? They actually have their own spin on, you know, the Terminator 1 and 2 soundtracks. Jump over it, asshole. Fuck me. Wow, even that's not effective. Sweet. It's too bad they didn't license music, you know. It would be really cool to hear that song from Terminator 2 that
better be worth
John and his friend are listening to. Can never remember the name, but it was a cool song, not gonna lie. You know, I'd even go as far as to say that the end of the story is almost as good as T2. You know, it just has that thing that it makes you, you know, you're just sitting there completely awestruck. One thing I would have to warn you about, though, the part where you have to get this important CPU in order to hack the T-800 so it could be sent back in time to save John Connor in part 2. That's actually a side quest, not a main quest. That threw me off in the last playthrough. You know, so just so you know, yes, I have completed this game. I'm just replaying it for fun. To be honest, it's a Terminator game that I've been wanting to play for many years. You know, because it just seems that every one of them has to be a tie-in. You know, and honestly, I didn't really like Genesis. I didn't really see Terminator Dark Fate, but it was already spoiled for me.
That's where the outpost used to be. Hope that destroying it slowed them down at least.
I heard that John Connor gets killed in the early scene, and then they shoehorn in like some chick. You know, not that I have a problem with, you know, female heroes and shit like that, just not when it's done improperly. You know, he's been the hero for well over 30 years, and you just don't do that just because you want someone with a pussy in there. You know, like, it could be a fucking space alien for all I care. You know, if you really care about making a decent story, you know, just try. You know, really fucking try, and don't say, oh, it's a woman, isn't that great? Whoever did came up with that idea. Huh. The upgrades in this game, I must say, they're unique and hard to understand at first, but when you really get the hang of it, they're really helpful, as they should be. I just don't really think that, you know, upgrades should be as cumbersome as they are in this game at first. behemoth. Like I said, they're tough. But this is an extreme difficulty. You know, but in conclusion, I would have to give it like a solid, well, maybe not solid, 7 out of 10. But like I said, I'm biased because I am a fan after all. Yeah, and it's a significant improvement compared to the other games. You know, like, don't get me wrong, Dawn of Fate and Redemption, they're both pretty good games overall, but they just seem like popcorn entertainment at best. You know, for me, it gets the job done. You know, what it lacks in, you know, all of its faults, you know, gotta strategize while I'm doing this, I'm sorry. Fuck me. It's hard when there's two of them. Yeah, there are a couple of things I wish were, like, I know T1000, but it wouldn't make sense in this area. But it would also be cool if it had, you know, multiplayer. You know, it's just, none of the Terminator games seem to have that, you know, and maybe a more large open world, you know, but they really did do great with what they had. I'd even go as far as to say that they should just stop making movies and just stick to either video games or even a TV show following the adventures of John Connor. Or exploits, maybe I should say, of John Connor. You know, because for all intents and purposes, I would say that they actually kind of screwed up with the movies, you know, and royally. Come on, don't die again, please. They're better. Yeah. You know, even Sarah Connor Chronicles, I thought that was still a good show. Like, sure, it didn't have Linda Hamilton in it, but the woman that they did get, you know, she was pretty good. Can't imagine why, but I think it had something to do with the ear injury in T2. You know, but come on, I'm sure not all directors are gonna put her in that kind of danger. Well, her ear's in danger, rather. That's also something that's pretty cool in this game. They're actually pretty destructible. Let me give you a closer look. Let the flames die down. You know, despite everything, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't get that kind of detail in a PS3 game. Maybe it would be like PS 3.5 graphics.
The signal's getting stronger. He should be somewhere around here.
Oh shit. Okay, so wait a minute. Come on. Stop. One thing I know about these guys, they can't actually hear you, they can only see you. You know, it would make them a little bit more efficient, but fuck it.
bright Skynet. It's listening. Time to look
There
for the
also
second
is an element in which, like, you know, the Terminator never infiltrates the base. Like, sure, they get in and blow everything half to hell, you know, but there isn't really you know, they're using a different voice over the radio, for instance. There's nothing like that, so it's pretty straightforward. Terminator comes to kill you, boom boom, run away, and then maybe fight him as a boss. They do get bigger though. I remember at one point, you know, you have to fight a gigantic tank. I guess that counts as a boss fight. You know, it is lacking, but it's really hard to say that really matters. Anyway, I'm gonna stop it right here, and I'll catch you on the flip-flop. See ya.